的话也是在最后一波King 虽然说中间发条就是空了一个大，对吧？但是也是在DC 想。
Alright guys, as you might have guessed, we are back with our English coverage of the Demacia Cup brought to you by Gosu Gamers and, of course, by Games in Asia. I am PiraTechnics, she is Froskurinn, and we are ready to get into game number 2.
And this is game, set, and match for Dream Catchers here. Excuse me, for King.
Well, both teams, really.
To...
One team could go on this next round, and one team could get eliminated immediately. Dreamcatchers on the chopping block right now, but they will get a chance to get first pick, as they are now on the blue side. Their opponent's King on the red, and there's your Kale ban once again.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the announcers. I actually believe that's Ari and his girlfriend, I believe.
Yes, Ari, formerly of World Lead Academy.
Yes, the support of World Lead Academy.
And his girlfriend, who caused all the drama. Wonderful dress today, though. Well, she didn't pause it, but, you know, there's a backstory to that.
A little bit.
We are
in Pixaban. It's going to be Kale, LeBlanc. Not going to see that Braum this time.
I'm out of my depth of talking about people's love lives. All right, so LeBlanc getting banned out, Braum being taken away again, and Nunu banned as well on the side of DC.
That has to be a target ban. I know Nunu's played a little bit more in LPL than, say, internationally, but very curious to kind of see him go down. I don't think he's necessarily in the best place that he's ever been, and that leaves the Jax open, which means Dream.
Yes,
not taking Rise this time, but taking Jax.
Locked in, and they want to take their preferred support and jungle as well. We always talk about Lee Sin being popular in China. I think it's a bit of an understatement, to be honest. They really love the Blind Monk.
Well, and here's the thing. It's just so, like, night and day between last season, at least as far as the LPL was concerned, to Lee Sin's numbers. I mean, internationally as a champion, I believe he's probably the most played champion in the world.
Gotta give a little credit to some of the influx of players, too.
Exactly. He was never super popular in LPL, at least. I'm unsure about his numbers in LSPL. Obviously, a lot more teams, so a lot wider of champion pools. But we also do see that Thresh being picked up for Sticky Bun there, as he loses his Braum.
Yep, so let's see. Zig's going to be locked in. Well, at least they're hovering over him. I think they do want this one, and they will take the Twitch on the side. So Coco going to get that champion just now, which means Lucian's still on the table. We might see a reversal of last game's ADCs, but they're hovering Yasuo right now on the side of King. We'll see if they pick that one up. Actually, now Zed. Again, the Lucian goes over these two very popular champions on the 4-9 patch, and just it's going to be a continued matchup like that until they do end up trading over.
You're not going to talk about the Galio?
Yeah, that was an interesting hover, but I think they don't quite want it, so they might go for Rise this time, which would be a pretty good early game way to deal with this Jax. However, later on, it gets pretty scary to deal with, so I don't know if they want to take that one. Hey, a Zach hover, come on!
I actually think, I hope he goes Rise. I actually think that's the best case scenario for him, just because you have to think of how... Yeah, Jax ignores the physical damage, so like his best bet to really take him down is going to be an AP eccentric champion that utilizes cooldowns.
And those are the
Look
options
at R's
in the mid
face. He's just like staring at the champion. Like he's like, huh.
Yeah. Now this is they're still waiting on the mid pickup on side of King, but this is going to be looking for the jungle now and the support as well. They're hovering Kha'Zix, and this is a champion that, despite his nerf, they still enjoy playing on a pretty high level. LPL teams we've seen most recently pick this up as well, and well, is June going to lock in that Leona, not going for Nami this time? Be an interesting choice into Thresh.
Which I actually think is really smart. Obviously, last team composition, what they were lacking was that hard engagement. So they're saying, you know, we don't need the disengage. We're going to have Twitch be fine on his own. Coco will do great. We're going to bring the hard engage, so we have answers late game.
How about a 180 on that one? We've got a Twitch, we've got a Kha'Zix, we've got a Jax, and a Leona. The only person on that team I would say is not hard engage is the Ziggs.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I like to see the Zed go through. I would actually really like to see the Yasuo pick, because I feel like that's a direct counter to Ziggs, just because it's so hard to hit him as he dashes through all those creeps.
Yeah, but
and then he also brings the... yeah, but everyone keeps saying, you know, Yasuo needs a composition to synergize with them, but Yasuo has tools on his composition to give himself the knockup. It's not like he's entirely crippled.
And of course, they do have the Dragon's Kick, so you guessed that one right. Frosk the Prophet once again, so King's lineup completely finalized as they do opt to try and break through the siege lines, and I like this as well. They have a lot of hard engage on both sides, but the early game is in King's favor.
look at this composition here. If Coco ever gets out of hand, they have now the perfect answer on that Yasuo pickup to deal with him and Ziggs. It just takes kind of one fell swoop and no one can really touch him because it's effectively like a Fiora ultimate. He almost becomes invulnerable while he's kind of, you know, dashing around back there. So
these are much more assassination-focused compositions, and I really like that they're mixing it up a lot from the last game. There was kind of a lot of tit-for-tat, but mostly poke and kite, whereas this game, you expect to see a lot more kills.
I expect to see a lot less throws. At least I would like to see a lot less throws.
Shots fired on the LSPL teams this time. And, you know, King really was the one that threw a lot at that Baron pit, but it didn't really matter at the end of the day because their team composition was much better for hard engaging, and they also had a really, really good gold lead. We'll see if they do manage to get that one off again. If they go 2 up this game, they will be moving on to the next round, knocking out Dreamcatcher of the Demacia Cup. But they're not done just yet. They're on the blue side this time. They had that first pick advantage. We'll see if they can even the score when we get into game.
And the reason why I just kind of want to underline this is that there was only one game today. Normally on the Demacia Cup, it starts at 1800, I believe, and the second series, or the second set, starts at 2015. The reason being that the 4 teams that made it into the playoffs that are playing the Demacia Cup, so Wardley, Invictus Gaming, OMG, and EDG, get free buys into the next round. So EDG was also supposed to be playing today, which is why there's not a second game. So technically it's Dreamcatcher versus King, EDG versus Bai.
But we're not showing that one right now, of course. This game going to be the only one we're putting on. And yeah, sometimes those changes get announced pretty late in the lineup for all of it, but we're still bringing you guys the coverage, so don't you fret about if we're going to miss a broadcast because they make some changes. We don't miss it. We don't sleep, do we?
I have not slept.
Not at all?
No, I feel like I
might want to go see someone about that.
I feel like I get into these LPL weekends and it's just continuous binge of monster drinks and the likes. But we are finally on the Rift again. It is going to be Dreamcatchers on the blue side this time. King on the red. Yep, and they're looking for their point set and match. If King wins here, it is sudden death, so there is no lower loser brackets. Dreamcatcher is just out of it.
Yep, this is definitely a lot of pressure on for them, but you see that they've chosen a very solid late game composition. JK going to try to get some early kills to snowball his champion. However, you also have the added insurance policy of a late game Ziggs, a late game Twitch, and the monster of late game himself. It's going to be Jax on Dawn. They're looking for the late invade as well. Although late is relative here, as this is only actually a very early invade. Okay, never mind what I'm saying. 45 seconds, and they're going straight for the red. Immediately, they're going to walk over a ward, though. June's spotted out right now, so they know this is happening. King probably just going to let it go, and they'll be heading over to the other side to pick up the enemy team's red. Well, there's backs all around, and here we go.
They need to let it go.
They do. Nubbins has been affecting me quite a lot.
I was watching their cast the other day. I was like, who hired Hugo and Nubbins to cast this? Then I was like, oh, crap, that was me.
That was fantastic, though. I loved the back and forth. Guys, for those of you who haven't tuned into our LPL coverage just yet, we do have several pairs of casters, actually, between Ghost of Gamers and Games in Asia. We have, I believe it's, well, we have Broken Shard, Rapid, of course, and Nero
Broken Shard got signed.
Oh, he did? Okay, good for him. So it picked up on another team, so we may not have him as well after that, but on our side as well, we've also got, of course, you and me, but also Tasty Nubbins and Hubo, a.k.a. Soldra, bringing up the other side. Also, from GPL fame, Chris the Man, who will be joining us pretty soon.
Hubo's also an NLB caster. But back to this game, we do have a little bit of a strange invade. It looks like both teams are going to...
They're playing chicken.
Possibly. Yeah, I know. They were about to go head-to-head, but this actually indicates a 2v2 in the bottom lane.
Yeah, so now it's just everyone's going together for this 5-man to ensure that the buffs are taken. There was a lot of shenanigans the last time when blue buffs were stolen both sides, but this time it's going to be a little more normal. Red buff start for Kha'Zix and a blue buff start for Lee Sin. So Malashingo looking to make an early impact, but so is JK, and he'll be heading towards the mid lane. Oh, the dives forward already commencing. That Yasuo is very scary to begin with, and on the side of King, well, Zhao Shen wants to make big plays early on. If you leave a Ziggs to farm, it will be trouble for you later on, and Yali knows it.
What I'm actually really curious about is the fact that Heartless and Sticky Bun decided to go toe-to-toe with Coco and June. I mean, obviously last game there was initially a 2v1 lane swap, but when the 2v2 finally did come down, Coco and Joan lost, like, single-handedly.
Speaking of Coco, he has to burn his heal already as the exhaust is spent over on Heartless. And nicely played. Good flash flay. Actually had a little bun. He did a really good job at that. Back to your point, though. I think that the reason they wanted the 2v2...
Literally just what happened.
Yeah.
It's just like perfect on the point. Like they're just going to straight up lose this because Heartless and Little Bun have already kind of demonstrated that they can't stand toe-to-toe with Coco.
Oh, and this is why you don't pick a Leona into a Thresh. So June finding that out the hard way as he tries to go in on the Zenith Blade only to get flayed away. And yeah, a very curious pickup. They want the hard engage, I understand that, but this is one of those situations I actually really would have preferred Nami. Nice disengage away from the Thresh. And here's JK onto the top side trying to help out Dawn, but Sky, well, he's getting pushed into tower, very surprisingly for Rise, playing very passive to begin with, despite the fact that he should have a lane advantage.
Well, the issue with Rise playing passively in the beginning is because he doesn't have the mana pool. Rise is actually a very mana-dependent champion, which is why when you see them take a Sapphire Crystal, just because of how his damage works, it does indicate that he is going more a kill style or a aggressive style Rise, but I expect to see him pushed in like that just because, again, he needs to get his tier before he can really get going. We do see a little bit of a gank being set up, though, in the bot lane.
Yep, hanging out very patiently. Kluo is going to try and hang out the outside. Does get a level up to 4 in the meanwhile.
It's Malashingo.
Sorry, Malashingo, yeah. Well, he was on Lee Sin last time, so we're getting our names a little bit mixed up. Apologies, guys. So they don't want to bite on this one. June and Coco are way too low to deal with this, and you can already tell Little Bun being far too aggressive. They know that this is here. They're going to back away, and even if they don't have a clear indicator, they have to figure it. So it's going to waste a little bit of time. Malashingo.
Check your overlay.
And oh, are we not in there? Oh, I'm so sorry. All right, so back to the there we go. There's the full screen for you guys. Anyways, here we go. Here's the big engage. Whoa! Big kill goes down immediately. Little Bun, and then June is in trouble as well. Gonna get finished off by Heartless, and there was the very patient wait out of Lee Sin to make that one happen. The 3v2, they didn't really strictly need it, but they got the pick off nonetheless, and a lot of continued jungle pressure means that this bot lane going to have a wave to deal with. JK has to come here and try and push out that wave as well. As not going to be too happy as he barely had any time to finish his golems up before he had to get back to lane.
A good read from Malashingo right there to realize that his bot lane was in trouble. Or, excuse me, wasn't in trouble, was in command. We talked about how Coco and June just really can't stand toe-to-toe with Little Bun and Heartless, and that paying off Trucer to punish that weakness, excuse me.
Yeah, so meanwhile in the top lane, Sky is able to push onto his opponent as well right now. So Dawn, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble till he hits that later game, and he has to get a couple of Doran's Blades to compensate for it. But Sky taking full advantage of this one, pushing forward, trying to get himself a little bit of extra farm and deny it if he can. Dawn can't really push forward on this one without getting rune prisoned.
He needs to be a little bit careful because he does actually have two people coming up underneath him for a dive.
Malashingo and Little Bun is way out of his lane right now, but they do not want to go too far forward on it. There's always the possibility of getting locked up under tower with the counter-strike, so they think better of it right now, and they're just going to continue to counter-jungle just a little bit. Malashingo stealing away a couple of wolves to begin this.
And Sky, obviously, on that Rise, wouldn't be able to push fast enough to make use of Little Bun's time spent out of lane effectively.
Yeah, so they do adapt really well when they see that maybe they didn't have the best chance to do something, and there's a power play going on towards this bot side. June's going to find Little Bun, and they get the lock up there. JK jumping in. He's going to flay him back, but he's taken really low, and Coco might pick up his first kill of the game. He does. Down goes Little Bun, just out of position, and JK and June capitalized on it quite nicely.
And that's really kind of the danger that you deal with when you're a roaming support, especially in that river without vision control. If it walks through the ward, got punished for it. So good job by JK being where he needed to be.
Yeah, and it gives Coco a little bit of a breathing space back into this game as he was already pretty far behind, 10 farm down, had a death to the kill of Heartless, and, you know, you could see the item differential there, but it's going slightly back in favor now. Oh, June's got to be careful, though. He's taking a piercing blaze. Oh, Coco, he's going to put the damage back on, avoids the Venom Cast, but there's a teleport in. They know this is happening. Trying to make a big play. Here comes Sky around the outside. See if he can get a lockup. Does not manage to, but he does successfully scare away June and Heartless. Or Coco, excuse me.
He also loses his teleport because he didn't teleport to an objective like a tower. He loses a big cooldown on that summoner. Yeah, they are going to try to transition this into the dragon, though.
Yeah, I don't think they know this is happening, or at least they don't feel like they can contest it, because JK not making moves for that one. Going to let Lee Sin tank up all the damage, so this is going to be a pretty big dragon as it's 7.5 minutes into the game. It's actually a little bit late for some Chinese teams, but Dawn trying to take advantage by pushing on the tower. He will back away now. Should have a little bit of time to buy his items, so they did manage to get something out of it. Not the kills that they wanted, but a dragon's not too bad.
It gives them a slight gold lead into this game. Unfortunately, doesn't translate to much there. A lot of these champions on the map are pretty item-dependent for their power spikes. You have Yasuo, an incredibly item-dependent champion because he needs his Shiv, needs to start stacking up that passive. Ryze, of course, an item-dependent champion. Jax, Lucian for his power spike. I mean, right now it's effectively just a waiting game on stacking that gold into their purses so they can start getting their damage out and look for something bigger.
Yeah, there's a couple of ticking time bombs in this game. One of them, of course, is Dawn, very obviously, very item dependent, but waiting until he gets up to his Blade of the Rune King and/or Triforce to really become a scary threat. The other one, though, is Zhao Shen. If you look at the farm differential in the mid lane, it is incredibly scary. And, well, we have a pause, so we can go into a whole spiel about this. But scary, 15 farm over a Ziggs, that's pretty crazy.
And I understand, like, Ziggs is recognized for being really good at farming, but you also have to understand that Ziggs' farm doesn't really start taking off until he's like Orianna, he needs levels into his points. He's a level-dependent champion, so he can farm effectively and start clearing out those waves with his Q and his E. So yeah, he's down, but it is much easier for Yasuo who dodge Ziggs' Q poke and has the added AD bonus, so it's easier for him to farm A, under tower, and B, to clear those waves. So I actually expect Yasuo to have a good farm lead on Ziggs early until Ziggs can just auto-clear the wave. We should start to see this change as Ziggs is able to auto-clear with the abilities, with the AP that he stacks up, and then he'll be able to waddle over to Wraith Camp and start picking that up, but this is pretty expected.
Yasuo also going to be building up to the static Shiv very quickly. You see he does have the Avarice Blade already completed. This is still a pretty scary threat just because he has the backline dive. As long as he's able to get a knock-up onto Ziggs, you can count that it's either going to be half health or just be able to take him down. The junglers are going to start eyeballing this area. Surprisingly that we haven't seen that much pressure from Malashingo. He's only come bot once or twice. He hasn't really put any pressure on the top lane, and he's completely avoided the mid. So very, very surprising that for a Lee Sin player, he hasn't really done a lot in this early game.
Which I don't know if Lee Sin is actually in like his big champion pool. It's a big big pull for him.
Meta picks.
Oh yeah, and also he wanted to take it away from his opponent there, but I mean, even as Elise, he didn't spend a ton of time ganking the lanes. He spent a lot more time farming his jungle and securing that.
Yeah, and on the other side though, Kluo hasn't had too much luck either, with the exception being that pick over onto Little Bun. But Kha'Zix is a champion that I'm not entirely certain why they really like him so much. I think it's sort of the weird off-tankiness that he provides.
Well, his superficial tankiness definitely got a hit in the latest patch, so it's no longer a big thing for him. I feel like they really like him because he still does decent damage. Like, yeah, Kha'Zix got nerfed, and as far as where his numbers were, people are quote-unquote calling him, you know, completely unviable.
I think there was that Reddit thread where he's like 4'8" Kha'Zix, and he's like, you know, a giant like scary void bug, and then like 4'10" Kha'Zix or 4'9" Kha'Zix, and he's a praying mantis.
Yeah, I mean, like, he was definitely significantly nerfed. Is he completely dead? I mean, obviously, you see that the Chinese are still utilizing him quite effectively. He still has great burst damage. He still has kill potential. He still offers the stealth and the dive. So, I mean, yeah, he's hurt, but he's not entirely crippled. And I feel like, again, stealth is really important in the Chinese meta just because they don't know how to ward against it. So anytime you do bring stealth on a champion, be it Evelynn, Twitch, Kha'Zix, Rengar, it has a little bit more of a unique advantage against the Chinese teams.
Well, they may not be warding too much of the lanes, but you do see that King not taking any chances with that river. They want to have a complete.
It is Christmas
path
in that river.
Yeah, that is some serious. We're gonna see the Santa Baron hat return.
Peacock lane.
Speaking, by the way, of JK, he's hanging around in that one brush, trying to see if he can find Sky on the outside. Won't be able to do it just yet though, and he'll be heading towards the mid. You'll see a very, very confident Yasuo right now, Zhao Shen, pushing forward on these waves, and he's got, well, nearly gets the knock-up on his Ziggs, but he doesn't quite do it. The further forward he pushes those, gives an opportunity for JK to come in there and put a hurt on him, but the Rubber Ducky going to clear the waves.
And that's what we were talking about. Like, it's really dangerous for Ziggs to approach that Yasuo right now. In fact, it'll pretty much be dangerous for him to approach Yasuo anytime that matchup definitely favors Yasuo. You have to think it's almost impossible for Ziggs to hit Yasuo as he kind of dashes through.
Oh, JK gonna come around the side. Oh, this is a 2v1 though. He's gonna be able to get away. Oh, there's a Sonic kick, and JK getting locked up in the teleport coming in as well. They can't quite finish him off. The Ignite is ticking away. He does barely survive, and they do not get anything out of this one. King on the run right now. Little Bun forced to flash out of the pit, or out of the way, and there we go. They're getting the lockup, and they take down Lee Sin. Well played. A 1 for none so far, and they keep on pushing forward. I cannot believe, JK, that luck in just barely escaping. Wow.
Can we talk about how he paced back and forth while he was on fire, literally saying, like, am I gonna die, am I gonna die? He had no idea if the last tick of the Ignite was going to kill him, which is why he didn't burn his flash initially, but that was pretty cute, just to watch Kha'Zix, like, running back and forth, like, oh god, I'm on fire, I'm on fire.
Yep, he did manage to survive it, though, so he's got 1 or 2 stories to tell on that one, and King cannot be happy about that. They spent so much on securing that kill, and then when the rest of DC came to the rescue, Malashingo got a little over-aggressive. They had to burn flashes left and right, and he still went down, and really all that they lost for that was June's ultimate.
Definitely right there, but we are back into this mid lane. More sizable CS lead, but Ziggs has a tier, actually. Wow. I haven't seen tier 6 in a long time.
This is a spammy kind of build. It's a weird build, but it's one that
I mean,
can
effectively
function.
with that build, you're completely saying I'm never going to fight you ever because tier doesn't bring any battle stats to it. If a mid laner comes back with a tier, you know that it's going to be pretty easy pickings.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and guess that he's not going to go for, well, he's definitely going to go for the
he's looking for the Seraph because he wants the shield, yeah, to go against Yasuo. So it's like
it wouldn't make any sense to get, like, well, what's the other item, like a Manamune?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is definitely going to be a very defensive Ziggs build, and I think that they're going to start relying very heavily right now on Dawn's later game presence, just because, again, Jax is a ticking time bomb. It doesn't matter if you shut him down. Whoop. Speaking of shutting down, they're going to find a Thresh on the outside. Coco and June coming around, too. There's another ultimate spent. He was just way out of position, and he will go down, giving the kill over to the AD carry. Coco picks himself up another one, and with a smile on his face, he comes back to lane and continues to poke down minions.
That's the second time Little Buns has been found in that river and killed. You'd think he'd be a little bit wiser to wait until at least his lane partner was there, but...
Well, he was warming up the try, but just poor timing, and the fact that JK knew exactly what was happening and came in there. So very, very scary jungle pressure on the bug right now. And here we go, Jin Xiao hanging around the outside and trying to pop some wards down as well as they're looking for the dragon in another minute.
Dragon going to be the next big point of contention here. I want to talk a little bit more about Ziggs. The more that I look at him, the more I kind of scratch my head. What are you thinking? He's got Ignite. Again, I talk about how Ignite... Uh-oh.
Here comes the gank, but I think he might have an idea about this. Yeah, they're going to force Malashingo to back off. And again, Lee Sin has just not put the pressure on in this top lane or in this mid. He's been hanging around sort of the mid-ish jungle, but they can't quite make anything happen here. Coco and June going to take some poke from their lane opponents, but Heartless, he's still a little bit scared. But here we go. They're going to get the big ult off onto Ziggs, and he will go down, pop his bomb, but it doesn't really matter as JK was able to avoid it. Now Yasuo on the chase, seeing if they can get a little bit more damage, and yet another kill. Can he poke him down? Does not quite have the crit to do it, and he'll back away. He's under tower, but he's okay for now. Or is he? June and Coco in there, just whiffing that Zenith Blade, and they still want to find on Coco. Sky is in the area as well. They are looking for a big power play on the side of King, and looking to push down this mid turret. If they can get the pressure out here, Dragon is up in 5 seconds. They're not even going to try for it. They're going straight for that Dragon, and they'll meet up with Heartless to try and do it pretty soon.
Easy Dragon call right there, knowing that JK is pretty much out of the fight, that there's no smite contestation that's going to be going down. Again, Ziggs bringing Ignite when he's already going to build a shield off of that Archangel staff. He could have brought Barrier. He probably would have survived that. Again, seeing the Yasuo pickup, every time I see Ziggs pick up Ignite, I'm like, what are you doing? You realize that your abilities have a longer cast range than the Ignite, so you physically have to get closer than you would normally just to Ignite someone. You don't have an all-in combo. It's not like a Ziggs dropped all of his buttons, smashes his face on the keyboard, press Ignites, and watch someone die. He's a sustained damage AD carry, whereas the more cooldowns he burns, the more damage he's going to put out. Obviously, he does have a nuke potential and AoE potential with his abilities, but
Speaking of nuke, Sky getting bursted down very quickly, and now Malashingo. He was finally making a presence in this top lane, but too little too late, as you see a really smattering of DC here, making a lot of effort. Dawn was joined by both June and JK. as they've decided to leave Coco alone. They did really lose that tower on the bot side as it was picked up by Heartless, but that freed up a lot of roam pressure, and clearly Sky or Malashingo did not see that coming.
I feel like JK has been so much more effective in his jungle presence. He has more CS, 53 to 41. He's got more assists, 3 to 2, and he's also got a full level over Malashingo right there. So just effectively utilizing his time so much better in the jungle, and it's really showing across the map.
DC is actually looking a lot better overall this game, despite the Dragon and the bot power play that was made by King. We talked a little bit about the summoners, Yasuo running Ignite, kind of a questionable decision. Same thing, really, with Little Bun. I mean, his Ignite hasn't been extremely effective this game. Exhaust works a lot better on a later game spamming ADC like Coco.
Yeah. But I still would have preferred to see a barrier, especially since it also counters Ignite, which Yasuo is known to take because he's an assassin all-in. But Coco, in a lot of trouble.
Yep, here he goes. They're going to get the kill onto this one, and that was a nice, really, really nice roam out of Jen. Oh my goodness, June is getting locked up once again, but he will be able to put the solar flare down, and they take down Yasuo. At the end of the day, JK coming to the rescue, and well played overall. But Zhao Shen roaming down on that mid, or roaming down on the bot, did a pretty solid move there, but they couldn't quite get the damage out. Oh, they're going to lock up 6, and they get him. Mega Inferno Bomb going to come out, but it's a consolation prize as they don't get the kill. King is rotating pretty well this game, despite a couple of setbacks.
And unfortunately, the gold lead is really starting to branch out. 4K in favor of King, 2-0 in towers, but pretty evened up on kills. But the CS difference is really starting to show across the board. Y'all actually going to walk in front. Ooh.
He's just trying to scare him away, but they're not biting on this one. Still putting pressure on June and JK.
I don't think
are
they're
extremely
scared.
low. Malashingo, this is his time to shine. If he can get in here and get the dive, there's no tower to fall back to. He's just choosing targets. He's gonna land on June. A brilliant Sonic Wave, and JK trying to answer back. He has the damage output, but the burn is going, and they don't know if they want to fight this one. JK gonna get a short hop, but he's a little bit too hefty for that one. All those kills making him fat. All those assists, excuse me. He's got one
so
kill.
Dangerous.
I can math.
I can't believe.
Oh my god, he's
yeah.
still fighting the golems. Malashingo's not done with this. If he lands a Sonic Wave, he can kill him. Oh my goodness, he gets the kickback, and he gets it. Those are my golems now, he says, as the red buff helps him secure that one. Malashingo all of a sudden 2-1 and 3, and he's going to be joined up by Zhao Shen in this bot lane. A little greedy by JK.
A great use of ward by Malashingo, actually, by placing the ward there for the safeguard. He saw that JK didn't leave up through the tri-bush, so he knew that he had 3 options. A, he was either on the mini golems, which, yeah, good guess on that door. B, he was backing in that brush in between the tower and the tri-brush. Or C, he was actually on the tower. Either way, he's looking for the pick there. Just really overzealous move by JK, and a fantastic punishment by Malashingo to make the correct read on his opponent. The greed.
Yeah,
I hope minis was worth it.
Honestly, this game has been all about the greed. It's what can you get away with, and what are you going to get punished by. And both teams have been burned by it quite a lot. More so on the side of King, just the mispositioning, especially of the support. Little Bun has had a lot of troubles this game. Now JK's going in for, and they found on the outside too a big solar flare lands, as well as the Mega Inferno Bomb. King might have bitten off a little more than they could chew. Going to try to find something on the culling, and it actually is going to get turned around right now as Zhao Shen picks up the kill. Nobody on King goes down. I cannot believe the sustainability of this fight. And Jax went in. They wombo comboed with the Mega Inferno Bomb. June got the solar flare off on 3 members of King, and they couldn't finish the fight, and they melted through JK. This is amazing play by King right now.
I mean, I feel like, yeah, they got the Mega Inferno Bomb, they got the Solar Flare, but the Rat-a-tat-tat was so far out of position. Coco was way off into the backside that he didn't effectively hit all of the targets that he needed to. I think he got the superficial front tank line. If he had been positioned a little bit farther forward, I think the Wombo combo would have really shown, and then a fantastic Yasuo ult. Again, Yasuo, such a prize pick for the Chinese. I mean, you can see him in the NALCS, the Wei Xiao pickups.
Oh,
Loves that
you
Yasuo.
didn't like Xiao Wei Xiao.
He's not considered a very good mid laner, no, but
Ooh, the
his
shots, the
Yasuo.
shots keep on coming right now with Froskurinn, guys. She doesn't pull punches or
It's really
win walls,
early,
as it
can
will
you
be.
tell?
Yes.
I haven't had my breakfast. I don't have coffee.
You're a cranky caster today.
It's pretty
I'm
much
just
like
kidding.
that gif where people are like, you know, I hate you, you're cool, I hate you.
Are you,
and then
are
you
you
like high
actually,
fives
are
one.
you actually Grumpy Cat today?
Probably.
Well, you know who's grumpy right now? It's probably DC, as they're still down a game, but they are making pretty big plays. They just cannot find a nice pick in this, and it's crazy. They had the perfect combination that last engage, and they couldn't pick a kill.
Jax completely missed his stun.
Yeah, okay, so almost perfect. But they're gonna find Coco on the outside. Oh no, Coco! He's gonna go down, falling to Zhao Shen, who has his 4th kill of the game. Yasuo starting to snowball forward. Dragon is live. Malashinggo's in here, as well as Heartless. This is going to be completely uncontested. No one's anywhere near it. And another Dragon going to go over to King as they continue to hold the line in every one of their lanes. Only 3 towers, excuse me, fallen all, or 4. I can't math at all. It's still really early. And they're going to get a pull.
It's
oh my
3-1,
goodness.
sir.
Gets the kickback on JK. And he's going to be forced to jump away. They changed targets very quickly as they realized Ziggs was going to escape with the rubber ducky. Well played, though, by King, and they lose absolutely nothing for it. You can tell how happy they are right now. Despite his early deaths and out of positioning, you see Little Bun just kind of spamming his laugh up in the mid. And when Thresh laughs at you, that's a bad thing.
What they do have to be careful, though, is as we start to teeter onto the mid to late game, obviously just the 20-minute mark, so Baron's still in play, but 20 minutes or 30 minutes, 35 minutes, even though Ziggs hasn't been the biggest threat in this game, sitting 0-2-0, he's starting to build up that tier. He is going to get a power spike when that item is completed, and unfortunately, whenever Ziggs is in the game, it automatically becomes like a 45-minute game. The anti-siege potential on that champion is just...
And the Jax, too. I mean, this is going to start getting really scary, but DC has to be careful that they just don't keep getting picked off like this. There's a 6k gold lead in the bank for King. They're able to translate that into item advantages as well, and they've also found some weaknesses on the side of Dreamcatcher. Kha'Zix's extremely fragile, and here's Sky as well. They're going to spend a whole lot on him just to get this pick off. JK is going to take it down, so... way mispositioning from Sky, and he gets punished for it immediately, but the pressure is still on for Dreamcatcher.
It doesn't necessarily mean anything, though, either. They expended, what, 2 ultimates, the Mega Inferno Bomb and the Solar Flare right there to pick up the Rise kill, which effectively means that they can't look for any other team fights right now on the map because they don't have their big AoE Wombo combo, and right now King's composition is 10 times stronger. This Yasuo going to continuously be a problem, and even though that they do have Jax, they have Twitch, they have Ziggs.
They don't have Jax very much longer, as he does get kicked away so the stun doesn't go down. He gets ignited for all his trouble. He will fall finally, and they're chasing the back line just to try and make this happen. The teleport coming in from Sky. They were looking for this tower. They should be able to get it. The 5-man roam. How quick is King to react to every little advantage they take? Magnificent transition, and they're going immediately for the second tier mid. They force the back out of Coco. He realizes, I can't put any pressure on the map right now. The rest of my team needs me, and they're going to shove this wave hard on the side of King.
And you're exactly right. Fantastic rotations from them. Just really perceiving themselves as the better map pressure team.
Are they going to go for Baron?
Oh, please, no.
Oh, please. No, okay, they're going to clear some wards. They are going to just try to secure up a little more pressure, but as soon as they had a couple backs there, okay, nothing doing. But that would have been one of the ballsiest Barons that I've seen in a long time, even for a Chinese team.
I mean, that last one from Dreamcatcher, from King when Dreamcatcher stole it was possibly one of the worst Barons I've ever seen.
This time they've got the Lee Sin.
You know, it was like that. What was it? It was Curse versus LMQ when their little Baron escaped. That
was the great escape. They're starting it up. Dominate pokes his head out the side, and oh god, everyone scatter. It was crazy, like 2 flashes like in the blink of an eye.
Whereas King was just doing that Baron, and they
they're
saw
gonna find JK though, and he doesn't get a chance to do anything. Tries to get a hit onto Little Bun, and he evaporates. They're gonna turn up the pressure onto this top side. They're roaming so much better right now than DC, and DC has a good late game hard engage, but they just can't find the rotations to make it happen. This second tier turret should fall pretty shortly, but they're gonna get chased off it for the time being. They do have the Ziggs anti-engage. It's gonna be hard for King to push in on, but they have the pressure, they have the numbers, they have the items, and here they go.
Ziggs doesn't have the AP.
Oh, there's a wombo combo, though. Solar Flare going to land on a couple people. June locking up quite a lot there, but he's going to go down for his trouble. And now he's on the outside. I don't know if he can finish this one, though. He's going to get the flash out of Valashingo, and he's going to get locked up. Down he goes. That is a second death of the game. And the missed timing right now from Donnie. He's just not been able to coordinate with his team extremely well, and it results in yet another death. So they take down June, they take down Dawn, the second tier tower in the mid's going to fall, and Heartless should be able to escape from this one, no problem. He's getting jumped on, but there's the Lantern to safety, aka the best friend Express. His wife's soul might be in there, but he's helping Lucian out nonetheless.
And with this is going to transition into a free Baron pretty soon. Obviously, they now have complete control of that side of the map, picking up those last 2 global objectives. So just that more map pressure. The fact, look at how many wards from King are just dominating that jungle. They continuously are finding the picks, and I feel like this is kind of like a one-man team show right now. Not that everyone isn't doing fantastic on the side of King. Obviously, team rotations, TSM, OGN, whatever. But
Yasuo would be proud of you, Frosk.
I can't right now. Yasuo is the heart and soul of this team. This guy is everywhere. He's getting the important kills, and unfortunately, there are 0 answers for that champion. He can take down Jax. He can take down Ziggs. He can pop Ziggs like a balloon, or excuse me, Twitch like a balloon if he gets a hold of him, and he can do it all in one fell swoop. Like, it's just that one champion. It doesn't even matter that everyone else behind him is also incredibly powerful as well. But 6, 1, and 2, 265 CS, has the IH, has the Borg, has the Shiv.
Well, look at the prioritization of the kills as well. On both teams, they've done a really good job at making sure the carry-centric champions are the ones that are securing those kills, and they're going to find Dawn on a Sonic Wave. They don't want to go in on it, but you got to hand it off right now to Zhao Shen. He's been doing fantastically well at locking up people and just melting them. He is huge. He is 6-1. He's got pretty decent amount of farm, got all the crit in the world, and even has some sustain with the Blade of the Rune King. So this is a threat that they do not want to deal with on the side of Dreamcatcher. They can't handle Yasuo. He just bursts too fast.
That said, Yasuo isn't the best at sieging. He needs to be unsafe to get up to that tower. I mean, obviously, if he gets a hold of the tower, it's going to drop. But it's very sketchy for him to get up on that front line and burn it down. They do have the Lucian there for the siege, but again, Ziggs still sitting on that tier. He hasn't completed it yet.
Yeah, it's still kind of a questionable decision, as they really didn't need too much sustained siege on the side of King. They've just been rotating and juking out their opponents, and they've been able to take these slightly disadvantageous fights, 4v5s, 3v4s, and it's been working out for them really well just because they've been capitalizing on Dreamcatcher just not having good positioning. So Baron Pit being cleared of all the wards, and they look like they want to start this one up. The dance is commencing. There's a ward, and wow, nice sweep right on the middle of it as they go for the start of this Baron. They're not quite aggroing it just yet, just going to hang around the bushes, and here we go. It's going to get started to be bursted down, but there's DC on the outside of it. Oh, wow, they're not actually starting it. And
they don't need to. They just need it as a...
This is nice. This is amazing patience. This is something you don't always see from the Chinese teams. They really want to get that Baron buff. But this time, they're waiting very patiently. They know they can take a straight fight. Coco's coming in around the side. They're going to try and sweep, and they do get a lockup on a Coco. The fight's going to commence. June's going to try and get the lockup, and they do manage to get a Mega Inferno Bomb out, but still, nobody falling on either team, and King looking like they might be a little bit weak, but they're going to lock up June as well. Get him on another hook. Fantastic. Little Bun has been landing every single one of those, forcing the disengage out of Dreamcatcher, and that's going to be a free Baron over for King. They cannot possibly contest this.
They do have the smite available.
They're not
doesn't
going
look like
for it.
JK.
No, they're scared. DC is so scared of this team right now. They're so scared of this Yasuo, 7-1. You could see June's health bar being ripped through like a hot knife through butter, like a last breath through a Leona, and that's exactly what happened. So
that was
they
cold.
take the Baron. That was cold. No, it was hot actually.
And
they continue to push forward. They're putting pressure
Issue
on all
still
sides
remains,
of the
though. They don't have tower sieging potential. They still have Ziggs to deal with. They have to look for a dive, or Dreamcatcher has to be completely out of position and just drop the ball and lose a tower. Well, yeah, but the issue is now that they're in their own base. They have less to screw up there. There's a shorter distance between point A and point B now, unless JK here wants to feed randomly in his own jungle.
You're not giving them much of a break here, but yeah, Dreamcatcher, they do have the advantage of being able to turtle up for a long time, but this is a Baroned up 5-man from King. They've shown that they're not afraid to dive. They've been able to pull off kills from it. They're very
have
confident.
to dive here.
And there's no towers really taken on the side of DC. They have 1 tower to 6. Even if they get a clean wipe, they have a huge road ahead of them. And they're not even anti-sieging properly right now on Dreamcatcher. They're letting this tower take a lot of damage.
I don't even understand. What is he doing in the mid lane? There he goes.
Okay, so they were clearing out a couple of waves, but here comes another wave down the side. They're getting cleared out, but they're not afraid to tank a couple tower shots since they have the Baron regen available. This tower is going to fall so quickly, and they're just afraid to react to it. Here we go, the dive coming in. Yasuo being extremely scary. This is going to be an uncontested inhibitor, and they should be able to back away for free, but they can still take a fight if they want it. They're all going to be chased away as he gets hooked up for just a moment and leap strikes. They're going to turn on to this mid lane as well. So King running the tables right now, not afraid to dive, and they're not being punished for it in any way.
What is the Ziggs doing? I just gave them the benefit of the doubt that there was no way that they can mess up the positioning in their own base because it's literally like a 500 by 500 square foot apartment. I mean, you can't get lost there, but he manages to get lost in the mid lane, completely loses half the health on the tower, and then obviously doesn't have the blue buff, so it's harder for him. He doesn't have the CDR, but part of that problem is because he went tier. He doesn't have the Athenes now for the CDR, for the mana regen to allow him to kind of stand and throw out the wave coup that he needs for his team.
Yeah, he really hasn't. Oh my goodness, Malashingo making big plays. Mega Inferno Bomb going to land, but it won't take anybody out. The focus is just not here for Dreamcatcher, and they get everybody but JK. They are chasing so far forward. Lucy going to mop that one up, so it is a 1 for ace right now, and this is a 30-minute game. They can end it right now if they want to. Long cooldowns. They don't even need to go for the next inhibitors. This is going to be game, set, and match as King will move on to the next round of the Demacia Cup. GG, well played.
And King definitely showing their dominance here and why they are the #1 ranked LSPL team, right? A little shaky in the beginning game, but definitely on the second time around, they showed their dominance here, coming in strong. And like you said, this is sudden death, so Dreamcatcher is unfortunately out of the Demacia Cup.
Yeah, they get eliminated just on the back of that second game dominating performance coming out of King. But you're right, they looked a little shaky in the beginning, and once they found their footing, though, they did fantastic. It shows how confident they were going into game number 2, though. They gave Dawn Jax. They gave a lot of hyper-carrying potential, but Yasuo left on the table all the way until the last pick, and you could see how much of a difference that made for King to put Xiao Shen on that. I mean, it was night and day. The first game, the matchup was really even. The Nidalee Orianna. However, this was absolutely out the window. There was a really weird build, of course, from Yali, but Xiao Shen just fantastic. His final score, 8-1-6, amazingly played by him. But that is the end of our coverage right now, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the last game because, again, EDG has a bye because they actually won the 2013 Spring Split playoffs there, so...
Yeah, so that will be the end of that round. Until just now, we will again return with Demacia Cup coverage this next Monday. And, of course, don't forget to tune in for the LPL. Oh, you could. Would you care to announce it?
Yes, so next Monday it's going to be the standard 2 games. Again, it's a best of 3. It'll start at 1800. The second set will start at 2015.
Remember, that's
that is China time. Which I love because it's like a huge country, but it's like one time zone, China time.
Welcome
Monday,
China.
I know, right? It's going to be LinG versus MD and AcFun versus HanGong, and it's going to be casted by Nero and Rapid.
So, guys, don't forget to tune in for that one. And again, remember, we do have LPL coverage on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and those start all at, well, I don't remember the China time because I live on the West Coast, but it's 1 a.m. for me.
It's 18 again and 2015.
Okay, so there's your conversion right there. Of course, you can always use the Zillion bot on our Reddit threads. If you are looking for further information on our coverage and other things, you can always check out Games in Asia and, of course, Gosu Gamers. And once again, big ups to Garvey for making this possible. We will be coming up with the Tournament Realm accounts very quickly. Won't have to deal with the stream syncing or any of those other issues, but again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and I am PiraTechnics. She is Froskurinn. We will be signing off for now. Don't forget to check back when we're live again. LPL teams we've seen most recently pick this up as well. And, well, is June going to lock in that Leona? Not going for Nami this time. Be an interesting choice into Thresh.
Which I actually think is really smart. Obviously, last team composition, what they were lacking was that hard engagement. So they're saying, you know, we don't need the disengage. We're going to have Twitch be fine on his own. Coco will do great. We're going to bring the hard engage. So we have answers late game.
How about a 180 on that one? We've got a Twitch, we've got a Kha'Zix, we've got a Jax, and a Leona. The only person on that team I would say is not hard engage is the Ziggs.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I like to see this set go through. I would actually really like to see the Yasuo pick because I feel like that's a direct counter to Ziggs, just because it's so hard to hit him as he dashes through all those creeps.
Yeah, but
and then he also brings the. Yeah, but everyone keeps saying, you know, Yasuo needs a composition to synergize with them, but Yasuo has tools on his composition to give himself the knockup. It's not like he's entirely crippled.
And of course, they do have the Dragon's Kick, so you guessed that one right. Frosk the Prophet once again, so King's lineup completely finalized as they do opt to try and break through the siege lines, and I like this as well. They have a lot of hard engage on both sides, but the early game. King 虽然说中间发条就是空了一个大，对吧？ All right, guys, as you might have guessed, we are back with our English coverage of the Demacia Cup, brought to you by Gosu Gamers and, of course, by Games in Asia. I am PiraTechnics, she is Froskurinn, and we are ready to get into game number 2.
And this is game, set, and match for Dream Catchers here. Excuse me, for King.
Well, both teams, really.
To...
One team could go on this next round, and one team could get eliminated immediately. Dreamcatchers on the chopping block right now, but they will get a chance to get first pick, as they are now on the blue side. Their opponent's King on the red, and there's your Kale ban once again.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the announcers. I actually believe that's Ari and his girlfriend, I believe.
Yes, Ari, formerly of World Lead Academy.
Yes, the support of World Lead Academy.
And his girlfriend, who caused all the drama. Wonderful dress today, though. Well, she didn't cause it,
nice.
But, you know,
Yoko
there's a
Ono
backstory
situation
to that.
A little bit.
We
are in Picks and Bans. It's going to be Kale, LeBlanc. Not going to see.
You want this one, and they will take the Twitch on the side. So Coco going to get that champion just now, which means Lucian's still on the table. We might see a reversal of last game's ADCs, but they're hovering Yasuo right now on the side of King. We'll see if they pick that one up. Actually, now Zed. Again, the Lucian goes over these two very popular champions on the 4-9 patch. And just, it's going to be a continued matchup like that until they do end up trading over.
You're not going to talk about the Galio?
Yeah, that was an interesting hover, but I think they don't quite want it, so they might go for Rise this time, which would be a pretty good early game way to deal with this Jax. However, later on, it gets pretty scary to deal with, so I don't know if they want to take that one. Hey, a Zach hover, come on!
I actually think, I hope he goes Rise. I actually think that's the best case scenario for him, just because you have to think of how... Yeah, Jax ignores the physical damage, so like his best bet to really take him down is going to be an AP eccentric champion that utilizes cooldowns.
And those are the
Look
options
at R's
in the mid
face. He's
too.
just like staring at the champions like he's like, huh.
Yeah, now this is they're still waiting on the mid pickup on the side of King, but this is going to be looking for the jungle now and the support as well. They're hovering Kha'Zix, and this is a champion that, despite his nerf, they still enjoy playing on a pretty high level. Is in King's favor.
Look at this composition here. If Coco ever gets out of hand, they have now the perfect answer on that Yasuo pickup to deal with him and Ziggs. It just takes kind of one fell swoop, and no one can really touch him because it's effectively like a Fiora ultimate. He almost becomes invulnerable while he's kind of, you know, dashing around back there. So
these are much more assassination-focused compositions, and I really like that they're mixing it up a lot from the last game. There was kind of a lot of tit for tat, but mostly poke and kite, whereas this game, you expect to see a lot more kills.
I expect to see a lot less throws. At least I would like to see a lot less throws.
Shots fired on the LSPL teams this time. And, you know, King really was the one that threw a lot at that Baron pit, but it didn't really matter at the end of the day because their team composition was much better for hard engaging, and they also had a really, really good gold lead. We'll see if they do manage to get that one off again. If they go 2 up this game, they will be moving on to the next round, knocking out Dreamcatcher of the Demacia Cup. But they're not done just yet. They're on the blue side this time. They had that first pick advantage. We'll see if they can even the score when we get into game.
And the reason why I just kind of want to underline this, that they're that Braum this time.
I'm out of my depth. I'm talking about people's love lives. All right. So LeBlanc getting banned out, Braum being taken away again, and Nunu banned as well on the side of DC.
That has to be a target ban. I know Nunu's played a little bit more in LPL than, say, internationally, but very curious to kind of see him go down. I don't think he's necessarily in the best place that he's ever been, and that leaves the Jax open, which means Dream.
Yes,
not taking Rise this time, but taking Jax.
Locked in, and they want to take their preferred support and jungle as well. We always talk about Lee Sin being popular in China. I think it's a bit of an understatement, to be honest. They really love the Blind Monk.
Well, and here's the thing. It's just so, like, night and day between last season, at least as far as the LPL was concerned, to Lee Sin's numbers. I mean, internationally as a champion, I believe he's probably the most played champion in the world.
Gotta give a little credit to some of the influx of players, too.
Exactly. He was never super popular in LPL, at least. I'm unsure about his numbers in LSPL. Obviously, a lot more teams, so a lot wider of champion pools. But we also do see that Thresh being picked up for Sticky Bun there, as he loses his Braum.
Yep, so let's see. Zig's going to be locked in. Well, at least they're hovering over him. I think they do.